Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. Please let us know in the comments what time it is where you are watching from. 6 months after the birth of her beautiful twins, Mercy and Caleb, Blessing Miller stood in front of a mirror in a private suite of the Hartman family estate. This time, not as a CEO, not as a survivor of heartbreak, but as a bride. The garden had been transformed into a wedding paradise worthy of royalty, and a billionaire's touch was evident in every exquisite detail. The Hartman estate's sprawling garden bloomed in full spring glory, a sea of color and fragrance that wrapped guests in magic from the moment they arrived. Roses, peonies, and orchids, imported from across the globe, lined the cobblestone aisle. Crystal chandeliers hung from trees, catching the golden sunlight and scattering it like diamonds across the guests' shoulders. An elegant string quartet played softly beneath a white-draped arbor, laced with ivy and white wisteria. Dozens of ivory and blush velvet chairs were arranged in perfect rows, each tied with silk sashes. Guests, dressed in couture and fine-tailored suits, took their seats with hushed awe. And at the very center of it all stood the breathtaking couple-to-be. The music shifted. Gasps and soft smiles spread through the crowd as two handcrafted wooden carts, painted in white and gold, lined with tulle and satin pillows, rolled gently down the aisle. In one, baby Mercy, wrapped in a cloud of lace and holding a miniature bouquet of peonies, gurgled sweetly as her cart was pulled by a flower girl. In the other, baby Caleb, dressed in a tiny tuxedo with a plush ring pillow nestled beside him, gripped the side of his cart with wide, curious eyes, as Mark, the twins' older brother and ring-bearer, pulled his cart. The crowd cooed as the twins were pulled down the aisle, stealing hearts before the ceremony even began. Then came Mary, glowing in a flowing champagne gold gown as maid of honor, walking gracefully arm in arm with Joel, Gabriel's younger brother and best man, who looked every bit the dashing gentleman in a tailored black tux. At last, the music swelled. Blessing appeared at the end of the aisle, and the entire garden seemed to fall into reverent silence. She was radiant. Her gown was a custom creation, an off-the-shoulder silhouette of white silk and delicate lace, the bodice adorned with hand-stitched crystals that shimmered in the sunlight. Her long, curly hair was swept into soft waves, crowned with a golden tiara and a sheer cathedral-length veil that trailed behind her like mist. In her hands, she held a bouquet of white roses, calla lilies, and orchids wrapped in satin ribbon. But her most beautiful accessory was the smile she wore as her eyes met Gabriel's. And Gabriel, standing beneath the floral arch, looked at her like she was the only thing that had ever mattered. As Blessing walked down the aisle to the sound of a soft, orchestral rendition of "Can't Help Falling in Love," every eye was on her. But Gabriel's never left her face. His hand reached out the moment she arrived, pulling her gently to his side. The vows were intimate and heartfelt, filled with laughter and tears. "I never believed in second chances," Blessing whispered, her voice trembling. "But you didn't just give me one. You gave me love, a family, and a future." Gabriel's voice was thick with emotion. "You rebuilt your world from ashes, and then you let me walk into it. Loving you is the greatest thing I've ever done." When they were pronounced husband and wife, the garden erupted in applause. White doves were released into the air, soaring above the arbor as the couple kissed beneath a shower of soft rose petals. Under a sprawling white tent trimmed with gold, guests dined on a 5-course meal prepared by Michelin-starred chefs. Tables were adorned with crystal candelabras, arrangements of white and blush roses, and gold-embossed place cards. The first dance took place under a glass dance floor set above a reflecting pool, with floating candles flickering beneath their feet. Gabriel held Blessing close as a live orchestra played a soulful ballad, swaying together like there was no one else in the world. Mary and Joel shared more than a few dances of their own, soft smiles and blushing glances confirming the spark between them hadn't faded. As the golden light of evening spilled across the Hartman estate, Blessing stood alone for a moment in the quiet of the garden. The laughter of family drifted through the air, Gabriel holding their twins on the back patio, Mary and Joel dancing barefoot in the grass, Gabriel's parents sipping tea nearby with warm smiles. The soft rustle of the breeze through the trees reminded her of how far she'd come. She closed her eyes and placed a hand over her heart, the same heart that once beat in pain and fear, now pulsing with peace and joy. And in that sacred moment, beneath the same sky she once cried beneath, Blessing whispered a prayer, not for help, but for thanks. "Father God," she murmured, her voice soft, "my heart overflows. You took me from the ashes and gave me beauty. From a hotel room of tears to a home filled with laughter, you never left me. Even when I thought I was alone, you were writing this story the whole time." Tears welled in her eyes, not from sorrow, but from overwhelming gratitude. "Thank you for turning my mourning into joy, for giving me Gabriel, for our children, for restoring my voice, my purpose, my hope." A breeze brushed against her cheek like a gentle touch from heaven. "Let my life forever speak of your goodness. Let my story always point back to you." She opened her eyes, the world sharper, richer. And as she walked back toward her family, toward love, laughter, and legacy, there was no more fear in her steps, only praise in her heart. Blessing Miller was no longer the woman left in the dark. She was the woman God had lifted into the light. As the evening faded into starlight, Blessing stood at the edge of the garden with Gabriel's arm around her waist, their twins asleep in bassinets nearby under the watchful eye of their nanny, with Mark tucked away in his bed, too tired from all the excitement of the day. She leaned into him and whispered, "If someone had told me a year ago that I'd be standing here, I would have laughed." Gabriel kissed her temple, "And I would have told them they were late. I knew from the moment I met you." She smiled, resting her hand over his heart. "We're not just writing a love story, Gabriel. We're building a legacy." He looked at her, eyes full of everything she ever prayed for. "And it's only just beginning." And beneath the stars, surrounded by love, family, and their 3 beautiful children, Mr. and Mrs. Hartman began their forever. Thank you for watching the amazing story of Blessing and Gabriel. Please subscribe if you haven't done so, and turn on your notifications so you never miss another video. Don't forget to give the video a like, share it with a friend, and drop a sweet comment. See you next time, and remember, love is free.